Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind. Give me a little bit while I share these links on a couple of places, and we'll get started. All right. I think it was long overdue to do one of these episodes. Many of you know some of this is just for me, mainly for me to clear my mind, clear my head. But tonight's going to be just a little bit more, a little different than previous episodes of this. Because I want to, you know, tie a few things in. Somebody had chatted with, reminded me of some things that sometimes, as we walk this journey in life, sometimes we forget the some of the things we've learned over the years. Especially, when we're getting caught up with all the everyday things that are going on every day, being all the bombardment of the million things that we see posted on social media. But, you know, life is a never-ending journey. And it's much like our minds, ever changing and adapting to the circumstances at hand. How we view these things is a matter of perspective from the circumstances that we have been through. You know, I noticed over the last few videos I've done, because I've been kind of outspoken on a certain few subjects, because I don't kind of hold my tongue back on some things. It kind of cost me a few followers, so on a few platforms, and I was like, really? These are people that claim to be open and understanding. So I decided to do a little early spring cleaning and get rid of a bunch of people that I know was following me. That quit following me, and also just get rid of a bunch of people, because in the end, it's about quality over quantity. I notice a big difference today in a lot of my feeds, seeing more stuff from my followers, the people the reason that I've come to enjoy seeing the things they post, which is important. I don't need 10,000 followers, subscribers, because I enjoy the interaction with people. I enjoy seeing their perspectives on things. Perspectives are important because it shows you how they view the world. It shows you a glimpse of some of the experiences that's led up to that. For me, let me make sure my mic's working. I've been having mic issues. For me, I was, lucky. I was kind of taught a lot of things growing up. I was taught to have an open mind, to think for myself. Most importantly, I was taught to always question things, even the things that most people will never question. And I put the effort in this journey of life to experience other things. Like when it comes to religions, I experienced many forms. From Baptist, most people don't know, but I grew up somewhat of a Baptist, you know, saved, baptized in the Baptist church. But I seen things, heard things preached from the pulpit that just didn't agree with me. So, I tried some other churches. I tried quite a few, actually. I started seeing a common theme when it comes to certain issues. You know, But I gave it a chance. I experienced it. You know, for me, my spiritual connection with God is just that, my own. You know, plus I remember what my grandfather used to say. You know, he used to say, "We don't need to go to church. Where two or three are gathered, we're in church. That is church." He goes, and that stuck with me. A lot of the other things stuck with me. You know, him always telling me, "You don't need to get involved with everything. Sometimes it's just as important to sit back, watch, and observe and listen." You don't always need to be the person barking out ideas and philosophies. You gotta learn first. You gotta live. You gotta be able to see the world, to see how people react to things. And I've carried that with me for most of my life. And it's allowed me to experience a lot of things. It's allowed me to see things in a different mindset. You know, I've made it no mystery on this channel about my stances on the Constitution and other matters. But, you know, sometimes I think people forget. I really do think sometimes people forget. When it comes to our Constitution, it is black and white. You know, everybody has the freedom of speech, freedom of religion. And if you sit back and watch, and I see it all the time, wow, perfectly quiet up until I decide to do a video. It's been like that all day. But it goes to say that, you know, you watch this, and you guys, you know, say what you want, but when somebody has a different belief system than Christianity, it's like they don't have the right to talk or have their belief. You know, I see it on Twitter a lot, and Gab. People are talking about, oh, free speech, until they see a Satanist posting something or somebody that goes against their views and beliefs, and they're like, oh, I can't believe this stuff's on here. You know, guess what? They have that right just as much as you. You know, you guys forget that. You know, so many people have forgotten that just because that person has a different belief, different perspective, they are entitled to the very same constitutional rights that you say you have, that you claim you have. Don't get mad when you see stuff on platforms like that. That's part of the problems we got today. You have a choice. This is the beautiful thing about choices. You have a choice not to read that, to block that person, to ignore it. Just like if you don't like this video, you have a choice to not watch it. You have a choice because you don't like what I'm saying to unfollow me or unsubscribe from me. That is choice. That is also protected under your First Amendment. You know, I think people forget where everything comes from, where you guys came from, where your forefathers came from. Everybody's so quick to judge. Oh, that's a porn star. Why are they posting on here? Well, free speech, freedom of expression. They have that right. Do I want to see it? Not particularly. But I have the choice not to go looking for it. Or if I stumble across it, oh, yeah, just block it so I don't have to see that person. Or not look at it. You guys got to remember, these are Twitter, YouTube, the Minds, Gab. They're all adult-friendly platforms. You're going to find all kinds, all people of all walks of life, you know, that want the same respect that you say you deserve. You know, that's why I've always went on the philosophy that respect is not given, it is earned. I'll treat you with as much respect as you treat me. And that's not a good philosophy, guys, but it works for me. because, you know, I can usually tell what a person's like by how they treat others. Or, first few words out of their mouth, what they're going to be like. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, we don't need to talk. All right, I'm just going to listen and not say a word. People forget we do learn from each other when we're not being so judgmental. People claim they're awake, they're open. But you're not. Because if you were truly open, you'd be respecting everybody's rights to free speech, everybody's rights to that's in the Constitution. So when a person speaks out about the president talking about due process, you're not going to get mad at that person, because if you are, you're failing your dual diligence, because you're supposed to be speaking out as well, because he's violating the very oath that he took to defend our Constitution. Due process is protected by our Constitution. But yet, apparently, when you speak out against that, you offend people. Oh, you have no right talking about him. I have every right. People claim and call themselves constitutionalists up until somebody of a different mindset, different belief, views their opinions. Oh no, then they're wrong. They have no right to express their opinions. No, they have every right. Now, if more people would just stop, think, and question, you start seeing things differently. I'm not sitting here trying to bash and talk bad about people, which I don't. Not publicly. That's meant for private. We do a lot of things that maybe we should think before we speak. Some things should be said in private, not publicly. Sometimes it's best to sit and listen to what others have to say. That's why I love this platform on YouTube, because I can interact with the chat room. I can see other people's comments, what they're typing, learn from their experiences, why they have that mindset. What have I learned? Why does it differ from this person? See, a matter of perspective also falls into the category of things you've experienced in life, the circumstances that brought you to the conclusions that you have at this point. If I wasn't open-minded enough or awake, or let's use the term, as much as I hate using the term, red-pilled, because, I've done a video on that one. You can guys go look it up and watch it. It's a point that I can point out throughout history. All the great inventors, the great philosophers, the great leaders, they got there by listening to others, sharing ideas and different views. Sometimes the most, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. The most radical of idea and a radical view has led to great inventions, great movements and changes that that are still seen to this day from a radical point of view. Somebody that's thinking outside the box, speaking freely, can bring about a lot of change, because people are going to look. Kind of a shock factor there when somebody does that. It's like, what did you just say? And you sit there and think about it. It's like, I can see some good points there. I've been blessed. I'm able, most of my friends will tell you, I'm quite the chameleon. I blend into my surroundings and environments, which allows me to interact with many different people. I've been able to sit down at tables in the convention areas with various different faiths and beliefs and have an amazing conversation. learning from them as they're learning from me. That's what it's supposed to be about. So much today we judge people by those aspects. You know what you should be? If you're going to judge anything, judge the person by their action, how they interact and hold themselves. That's how you judge them. You don't judge them by their beliefs and ideas. You will judge them by how they act and interact with people. You do that by observing, watching. You know, I've met some bikers that, well, you see them, you judge them by the cover, you miss something. Two in particular I can't remember where I met them. They were from a Christian organization. And it was the first time I've ever encountered some, I can't remember what they call them, but by shaking your hand, they could tell you what ailed you. Or what, it was an amazing experience. But if I would have judged them by by what they looked like, I would have never got to experience that. And it goes through, I've met, you know, like I brought up, I think that's what kind of hurt me in the last video I did, brought up other things, you know. I've met a lot of pagans from different beliefs, from Wicca, and you name them. I've interacted with them. And come to find out, their communities, they have just as many communities as the Christian community does when it comes to different names and groups and what they call themselves. They're just, when it goes back to talking about divisions, they're just as divided. They have the same problems. You know, they have their own little messages and little things. That's cool. You know, once you get set down and watch, you'll find out they're not as evil as everybody says. But how would you know if you don't allow yourself to observe, watch, interact? You know, there's so many things that we so quick to jump to conclusions instead of watching, observing, questioning, thinking for ourselves. And when we start doing that, you're no longer free thinkers. You're controlled. You're losing the ability to think for yourself, to question things, you know. And some of it has to do with the experiences. And sometimes most people will never do these things until such a traumatic event happens in their life that causes them to question things, see things differently. I mean, there's examples of it every day. A good Samaritan, you know. Usually those good Samaritans are from all walks of life. Nobody questions anything else about them other than they did a good deed. Until somebody finds, well, that such and such was a criminal. He did like 10, 15 years in prison. Some people do change. Some people go through such an experience, they don't want to live that lifestyle that they were living before. They want to change. You know, our minds are such a beautiful thing when we use them. But, you know, there's days I just can't believe how judgmental people can be or how blind they can be. They get caught up in a label. Make America great again. Let me tell you something. America is great. It's always been great. It can get better, yes, but that label has so much power. It draws people in. I talked about this a long time back when they first said it. I pointed out how dangerous that label can be because the first time anybody steps out and questions something he might say, everybody's going to turn on that person when they should be questioning the very same thing. Because it's cool to back something like that. That has a powerful message. But don't be blind when something is said that you know is wrong, that goes against the Constitution. Speak out. Otherwise, we can find ourselves in a very dangerous spot. I think sometimes people forget how much freedom we have here in the United States. They don't realize it. They take it for granted until you go overseas somewhere. And because you might be you might have done YouTube videos or said things in public and social platforms, you find yourself being detained and not allowed into the country because you voiced your opinions. Oh, that don't happen. Well, it did happen yesterday and the day before. Of all places, the UK. Just like me, I'm very careful what I say about what happens in Brazil. Because, yeah, they can block me, but they can also affect my sister, my mom, my brother. There is responsibilities, and it's knowing those things. Knowing that if I say certain things, what's really going on down there, I could be putting repercussions on my family. That's what most people don't get. When it comes with me, I know what it's like to have money. I know what it's like to be homeless. You know, I've made choices a long time ago not to have that easy life. And I don't regret it. But I got to experience it for a few years. And I didn't like it. I don't know why. It was just something about my perspective. Viewing, having maids, doing the chores, cooking the dinners. Granted, they got paid. They got paid real good, actually. But it always bugged me. Of course, I was a kid, but like when you're younger, you're still much more open than you are as an adult because you still see things clearer. You have been less programmed, or you aren't as numb to things as you are now. So you see things differently, and it always bothered me. It was one of the choices I made, and was the real reason why we ended up moving back to the United States, because I didn't like it. Plus, I just had that notion that I wanted to be back here for my grandfather. I was real close to my grandfather, and I got to spend 2 years with him before he passed. So I lived down there I think I was from 8 to 10. I was 8 till I was 10. And previously it was just off and on, because that's where my mom's from. My dad's from the United States. I also got to experience education systems, the difference in them. One, down there, you don't go to a public school. Public school don't teach you nothing. They barely teach their kids how to write and read. Down there, that's how bad their public school system is. So you had a choice. And the choice was if you had money, because if you didn't, you weren't going to the private schools. There were only 2 private schools down there where I lived. The preschool, the nun school. Gotta love those penguins. They don't shy away from that ruler. But, down there, the education system in the private school, I would have graduated 2 years ahead of my class in the United States. And been in college at the age of 16. So there is a difference. But it goes back to money. And we come back here. That's where, I've always had how to put it, issues with certain things. I was taught the importance of working. My first car that I bought off the lot was an '89 Camaro. that I had to work for and pay for. Every car I have owned, had to work for and pay for. Nobody else paid them for me. And that was at the age of 16. I learned how to be responsible to a point. I mean, kids are kids. We're not that responsible. But we learn. We start experiencing things in life. You learn the value of hard work. Out of all these years, even when I've gotten laid off, I've never been on unemployment. I refuse. Why? Because I'm capable of working. But yet people abuse that system every day. Of course, back then, it was easy. You get laid off, you can go next door and get a job. It wasn't hard like it is today. Today, yeah, good luck. I'm still looking for a job. But I made choices. I chose never to use a system that's meant for people that really need it. But yet we have people out there that just abuse it. Why? Why do people take advantage of things? That's in some people's nature, though. Why do we see politicians able to claim, even corporate executives, to claim unemployment? And there's a lot of people that should need it. They've got plenty of money to fall back on. I mean, we've seen the countless horror stories of that. Just like we've seen the stories of rich people dressing up as bums and beggars to go out in the streets and panhandle. Then when they're done at the end of the day, they get then caught walking to the Porsche. But yet, we see that person dressed the way they are, we feel sorry for them. They know this, and they take advantage of it. Most people don't sit back and observe these things, just like most people don't sit back and think about the homeless situations we have. Why does our vets come back, but so many of them end up on the streets? And it's like nobody cares. We see states like California that would rather give money to illegal immigration, to immigrants, break federal law to protect them, and they got a homeless problem that's out of this world. And many of those homeless are vets, but they don't care about them. Back what happened in 2008 when everything crashed, the housing market and everything, many people ended up that were in the middle class ended up poor, and the poor ended up homeless. And nobody's reached out to give them a chance. And there's some. I've actually seen an article, I think it was in Houston. The city decided to pay the homeless to pick up the litter and trash. They went as far as rebuilding, taking some old buildings and turning them into housing units so they'd have houses. Says a lot, but you don't see that often. Those are the rare stories that we miss because we get caught up in, oh, this memo or QAnon. And don't get me wrong, I think Q is a fake joke. It's meant for a distraction. But with that said, I'm not as blind to it as it's kind of fun to follow from time to time. It brings up interesting talking points, interesting perspectives that you can think about. Like the concept, let's drain the swamp. I talked about Brazil, right? Well, Brazil tried to drain the swamp. Now they have martial law. Military on the streets doing policing. And it got them nowhere but further down and midst of complete utter chaos down there. People, it's a great idea. Concept's great. But when you start doing this, when you start going after those corrupt people, let's remember, those corrupt people have a bunch of followers that follow their label that will never believe that they are guilty. Much like we don't believe the stuff they say about the Russian collusion. And you do a little research, and you can come up with your own opinions on that. And yeah, the fact is, what it was, and this is what it boiled down to, Trump made everybody look like an ass. He did something that nobody used, and they had the tool even during Obama's run. The internet, social media. What Trump did, he proved that you can run an election and a campaign just off social media. Show up to these rallies and push the social media. Push your message out there on the social media. Create a great slogan, a symbol. Everybody's going to fall into it. It was a beautiful thing to watch unfold. But at the same time, look at the chaos and division it caused. Because people adhere to labels. They adhere to labels without researching the labels. They don't understand that a label is meant to categorize and separate and divide. For a lot of us that decide to step back and watch some of this unfold, sit there and start talking to some of the Bernie supporters, the Hillary supporters, the Trump supporters, hearing their perspectives, why they said things, and you started to get pieces of the puzzle started falling together. It's like, wait, don't you know your history? A lot of people don't, because they don't teach the history anymore. They don't teach people to be open-minded, to think for themselves and question things. You got to have a perspective of your own. It makes you unique. It's what makes each and every one of us unique. Your own perspective, how you view things, because your perspective is based off of your experience in life. But you got to take that a step farther. You got to be able to take that and understand that you're going to learn things as you experience more things that may change that perspective. You got to be willing to accept the things that you might have been wrong or things that you were told that weren't quite the truth. And guys, the best truth, the best lie is the one that has just a little bit of truth, because you'll see that truth and you won't question it any farther. That is the best lie. Just a little bit of truth. And most people won't question it any farther. We're supposed to take our perspectives and our experiences, and we get into communities like this, because this is a community. And when we're gathered here, we're supposed to, feel free to share. Let us learn from each other. And I see so many people get mad. Oh, I got all these thumbs down. Well, congratulations, you did your job. You should be happy to have them, because you made somebody question, you made somebody think. Just like when I lost about 20 followers because of 2 videos I did. No, probably a good thing. Because they don't want to question. They don't want to think. They don't want to realize that, hey, this person actually said something that was unconstitutional, that would violate the oath of office that he took. They didn't want to believe that. They just wanted to believe, oh, he's all about making America great again. When you start stripping down our Constitution, you're not making America great again. You're making it just like any other country out there that doesn't have freedom of speech or due process or Second Amendment rights. And there's going to be people that are opposed to guns. Good. Because let those people come up with new ideas and safer ideas to protect our schools as well. They will have some great ideas. Listen to them. No, we're not getting rid of our Second Amendment right. They got to understand that as well. But what can we do to make things safer? Well, there's a lot of things we can do. It starts with listening to others. Doesn't matter. And it's okay to disagree with people. Just be civil about it. Instead of just sitting there arguing, throw your view. Well, I understand what you're getting at, but here's my view. Share your view. Start bouncing views back and forth. Eventually something that you would never think will come up out of it. You know, and for those that say, oh, I'm awake, I'm open. Okay, I'll give you that. You might be. But are you open enough to respect everybody else's rights and beliefs without judging them? Are you open enough to realize that maybe something that you were taught may become wrong? Thank you, Free Spirit Press. Wrong? Because we're going to encounter things that maybe at the time we just weren't ready to acknowledge or ready to accept at that time, till we reach a point where it comes back up and you know that it's nagging you, that, okay, why is this nagging me? Why is this bothering me? Start questioning. You might find that maybe something you had learned or were taught or believed in was wrong. And it's okay, because that's part of growing and that's part of experience in life. Every day we make choices. Those choices affect everything in our life. There's going to be good choices, there's going to be bad choices. But we learn from them. So when we make a bad choice and encounter that choice later down the road, we make a better choice. That's what being open and awake means, accepting things, accepting other people's opinions, other people's ideas. When I say accept, I don't mean take it as face value, that's fact, truth. It's got to be. No, it might not be. But by listening, you're going to come up with things, you're going to question it, you're going to do a little research, and you're going to find, yeah, he's completely wrong. Or it's like, well, he actually was right on a couple points. I didn't know that. Or I didn't get that. Not, like I said, not everybody is leaders. Not everybody is followers either. Everybody has their own unique set of ways, personalities. Everybody has their own skill sets and gifts. You know, some people's gifts aren't to be in leadership roles. Some people's gifts are much like my own. Be able to watch and observe things and process those things. You know, 7 years ago, this wouldn't happen, what we're doing right now, because it's not me. It wasn't me back then. In most cases, it's probably not me today, because when I get in groups with my friends and stuff, I go back to being the silent one, the one that's in the background, watching, observing. You know, and don't get me wrong, I speak up when I need to. I give my opinions when I need to. I give you yes for my opinion, I'll give it. What you do with it's on you. I did my job. I gave you my opinion. I gave you my views. The reason why I have these opinions. It's up to you to decide what you do with them. Maybe it's not, in your time of life, it's not meant for you to even address at this point. Maybe later down the road, oh, something's going to come up, and you're going to remember that conversation. It's like, man, he was right. You know, and that's why I do a lot of the videos the way I do them. Yes, I do get on some hot topics, and I do get on some topics that most people don't want to talk about because it goes against what they've been taught or what they believe. But I'm sorry. I mean, if you call yourself a constitutionalist and you believe you scream free speech when your freedom of speech is getting taken away, but I see you post something 2 days later about this person posting something. Oh, he should be banned because he whatever. You use your own imagination there. What are you screaming free speech for? You're trying to deny somebody else theirs. And I see it all the time. You just let it go by. Don't say nothing. Because it's pointless. You point it out. You're going to like, who the hell are you? Tell me what to do. You know, that's, use a term that you want to put there. That's it goes, it's not, it's not about that. It's about understanding that when you strip that person, say that person doesn't have a right to it, you're opening the door for somebody to come around and take it from you. The very same thing. And that's the problem. When we get on these hot button issues when it comes to the Constitution, trying to protect it, that's cool. I'm game. I don't got nothing planned. I don't get why people are like that because it's just like much what we said in the Second Amendment debate. And that's what another thing that got me because I spoke out against the NRA. I'm not the only one. Granted, the NRA is a tool. It's a needed tool right now. But that don't mean to be quiet and not call them out on stuff because they have given an inch in the past. When you give an inch, they're going to come back again and find something else to take. You can't give an inch on anything. I don't care if the person's a Satanist. The Constitution clearly protects that person. I might not agree with what they do and their belief system, but I also realize that if they take it away from him, I'm next. And they will. We've watched it. I've seen it. They do it on everything. That's how they go after us. They keep us so divided and pitted against each other that, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Oh, I'm judging you because of this. So now this politician is going to come around. Okay, let's take this person's thing. Let's tell that person they can't wear their pendant or their cross. Or let's tell that person they can't have a right to equality because they're homosexual. Yeah, big button, isn't it? Big topic button that'll piss everybody off. But we want to talk about being equal, everybody treated equal, then they have that right. They have that freedom of expression as well. They have all the rights that we have. You don't have to agree with it, but you should defend it when those rights come up. Just like I don't agree with, that goes, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Yeah, they tried to take a mile with, oh, now we have to have all these transgender bathrooms, universal bathrooms. No, absolutely not. We never had them in the past. We don't need them now. There's areas where you put your foot down because the bottom line is, and this should never be an argument, yeah, you can have all the surgeries in the world. The bottom line is, till they come up with a way to change your DNA, you're still a male or a female based on your DNA. Yeah, there's no arguing that point, and that's where the buck should stop. Everybody knows there's a point where, all nonsense aside, there's no more argument. You have every right we have. But when it comes to your sex, that is determined when the day you're born, whether you're male or female by your DNA. There's no arguing that. You have every right to go through the process and become a male. go from a female to a male. I can respect that. But in the end, you are by what you are by your DNA. We try to make too many big deals out of things instead of keeping it simple. Common sense. We've gotten so far away from common sense, it's not even funny. And then that's another form of how they keep dividing us and pitting us against each other. You know, I seen a comment today that was like, "Ooh, good thing I paid attention to where that comment feed went to." But somebody said, "Well, we need to bring back the insane asylums." I'm like, "What? Are you out of your rabbit ass mind? You must not know your history about the asylums and the insane asylums. Go research that before you even prompt somebody to bring that back into legislation." The horror stories that you will find, and they are horror stories. No, we don't need those facilities reopened again. Yes, there are some people that do belong there, but that goes back to what I said. You give an inch, they'll take a mile. They'll say, "Oh, because you need that cat for or that dog to help you cope with your emotions. Oh, we can put you in an insane asylum, or we can take your Second Amendment rights away." You give an inch, they take a mile. Or you have opposing views on something and you voice them. "Oh, no, you're insane." No. The problem is we can no longer have good debates, open-minded debates with free thinkers, because all we want to do is argue about who's right or wrong. Some of us still can. Some of us don't judge a person by what they wear, the color of their skin. That's the other part that amazes me. Race is still an issue to this day of age. Guys, you haven't figured the concept out yet that you are American? You're an American citizen? That is actually your nationality? Why are we arguing race? You're an American. You're equal. You have a constitution. You have all these freedoms. Why are we debating race amongst Americans? Yes, I know, there are racists still. But that mentality shouldn't exist when you realize the concept that we're all Americans. We all come from foreign ancestry. Unless you're a Native American, you're not from this land. So, these are the issues that we keep arguing about. Why? I know why. I've told you from the get-go. It's the way they keep trying to divide us. They don't want us thinking for ourselves. Back in the Middle Ages, they had a term for that. Heretic. Look it up. Learn where it first originated from. It'll amaze you. And it'll also amaze you what other three words you'll find with it. Or the other two words that you'll find with it they would label people. And they all have the same root origin, free thinker. It was the way to shut the free thinker up, the common folk. In a lot of ways, we need to get back to our foundation, what our Constitution was built upon, and get away from these ideas that are meant to entrap, divide. We need to get back to being free thinkers, really open-minded people, questioning everything. Then in the end, you have your experiences to fall back on, your perspective from those experiences that's going to help you see things for what they really are. Granted, I titled this Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind. Well, this is my mind. This is also my journey in life, my experiences that I've experienced in life. And I've experienced a lot. From the good to the very, very bad. And I know what it's like to become numb to things as well, because it happens. The more you experience some things, you'll become numb to it. You'll find ways to shut that out. When you start shutting that out, guess what? You're creating a false reality that you're now living in and being blind to things. When you start doing that, you start shutting yourself off completely. It only takes one thing in your life to close yourself off to, and you start slowly, before you know it, you've slowly closed everything off. You're no longer thinking for yourself. You're no longer a free thinker, and you're no longer open. But hey, I'm just the crazy one talking through a computer screen, right? It makes you think, don't it? I mean, I've challenged people so many times. Just sit back and observe. Watch what's being posted and how things work. Watch what people are saying. Don't be afraid to be the one that steps out there and just post something that goes completely against the status quo and watch what happens. How quick people are to jump. There was a video the other day. Some chick was talking about the NRA. I mean, it was straight bash. How many lives it has taken? I mean, it was priceless. Because if people didn't watch it for like the first 4 minutes, they missed the point, and the comment thread was over 100 when I seen the video, and everybody had heard what she was saying, and they instantly went to post their comment without watching the whole video. It's right in the middle of the video. She goes, "Oh wait, that's not the NRA. That's Planned Parenthood. They do all those things." But nobody caught that part because they were too quick to judge instead of listening to the whole thing through. And I had to type in it. I was like, lots of laugh. See, this is the problem with people today. Too quick to judge and not listen to the whole video all the way through. If you don't believe me, read the comment threads below. And it was amazing how many people that didn't listen to the whole thing. All because the way she was talking. And she was saying the NRA, this and that. And it was hilarious. I mean, it wasn't actually twistedly hilarious. Let's rephrase. Because it's actually sad that we live in a day and age that people are judging a book by its cover. Not thinking for themselves, not actually taking the time to listen to the whole thing. I guess they don't teach that lesson anymore in schools about not judging a book by its cover or by what it says in the preface or the back of the book. Some of the greatest books I've read, if I would have just read that book based on, if I'd have wouldn't have read that book based on what it said on the back, I'd have missed out on a lot of good books because, I'm sorry, some people really need to learn how to, that's the selling point. That's what most people are going to look at and read first and judge and decide if they're going to buy the book or read the book. most people are going to judge it by that or the first few pages, and they might miss out on something great. So don't be that person in life that misses out on the great things because you're judging things. Because when you judge things, you might miss something. You might miss one simple fact. Maybe that person was meant to come in your life at that time to make that's going to leave something, impart something to you that is life-changing. And it happens all the time. Sometimes we just meet people just for that reason. And that it leaves a lifelong impact on us. But if you're too close-minded, too judgmental, you're never going to hear that, and you're going to miss out on maybe one of the most amazing, changing life experiences you'll ever have. Something that may one day even save your life. You know, these are the things that people don't get. Just like, I left a comment on somebody's YouTube page about a typo that they had on their Patreon page. Now, they was wondering why they're not getting Patreon subscribers. Well, when you have a typo that says $22 a month, yeah, nobody's that good. At least in my opinion, I'm not paying nobody $22 a month to hear what you got to say. No. And it is a typo because if you click on, become a Patreon, you'll see it's, the minimum. I like how people say $2 a month. The minimum is $3. But it's, sometimes they don't get that. They think, oh, and most people won't get that because they won't click on become a Patreon to see that, hey, that's on the main page is a typo. But hey, that tells you how judgmental people could say, because I typed that in, letting know, hey, you got a typo on your page, you might want to go check it out and fix it. Straight ignored because, oh, I don't want nothing to do with you. We don't have the same beliefs. And that's me looking out for another person, another YouTuber. But I guess in that YouTuber's eyes, I'm just a piece of shit. And ignores a comment that could help him. Because I'm that type of person. I don't care if I don't like, even if I don't like what you're saying. If there's something that I can impart or something that you may have missed that could better yourself, I'm going to look out for you. Give you a heads up. Why? I hope somebody would do it for me if I did something and made a mistake or had a typo. It's about looking out for each other. No matter what we talk about, no matter what our beliefs and practices are, no matter what our ideologies are, if we're looking out for each other, if we just take that little step, looking out for each other on this community, we'll start doing it in our own communities where we live, and we'll start bringing a new message of change. Change that, okay, we might not agree with each other on all these things, but I'm still going to look out for you when somebody comes after you, or you do something wrong that could get you in trouble or could lose you something. After that point, what you do with that is on you. I did my job by reaching out. I have a clear conscience. If you choose to not do anything, that's on you. You just, like I said, it goes back to show the type of person a person really is. We live by our actions. We live by example. And these people are the very ones that claim to be awake. Yeah, you're awake on some things, but you still got a little ways to go. And I'm just like, I'm not going to sit here unless you really get under my skin and do something. I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to sit here and bash another person's channel or things. Don't mean I'm not going to talk about it in my own little way. Because, hey, maybe eventually they might stumble across this, or something I typed, or a blog I post, or might actually find a magazine, my magazine that I published a long time ago, and published for like 4 years, and might find that very same message. You know, that's the thing, I guess, we get caught up in the numbers, because that's the thing. We got to have all these friends on Facebook. We got to have all these followers on Twitter, all these subscribers on YouTube. The mind. You know what I love about each of those platforms? I got a different little group of people, a little different little niche that I can reach out to and express things to. It's not the same. It's, you know, that's what I use those platforms for. Yes, I share this here with you guys. I share it over there with them. I'm reaching different people. And I don't get caught up on the numbers game, because the number game is a way to sometimes silence you. Oh, we're not getting all the views. You go to look at your analytics. Oh, man, I only got 20 views on this. No thumbs up or thumbs down. I got all these thumbs down. But yet, the very same link to this video, this live stream video, is on the minds. Same way with every video I've done. Why, in my analytics, does it say I only have 21 views on a certain video? But on the mind, it says I have over 2,000. Yet, you're not going to silence me that way. These platforms are all tools. Use them. Don't get caught up in the numbers game. Because believe it or not, quality is always better than quantity. You'll feel better. I mean, last year I spring cleaned on my Facebook page. You know what? I'm enjoying my Facebook page feeds. Why? The people that I interact with, the stuff that I want to see. Some people really showed their true colors last couple of years. People that I supported and supported their causes. And I don't know where they went off the rails, because the very same causes that they support, it's like they turn their backs on, or I don't know. It's mind-blowing. It's like, how we worked together back when I was doing a magazine, back on the websites. What the hell? How? I know you still support these things, but why? Oh, because this person said something. And therefore your narrative changed. You allowed somebody to silence you because you didn't agree with one person. You know? Like I said, I've seen a hell of a difference today on my Twitter feed after removing a bunch of people. People that, yeah, I followed there for a little while just because I'm interested, curious. Okay, what do you got to say? Okay, I liked what you're saying here. And then I watched them as their narratives changed, as they started not investigating the people they were letting in, and they slowly started changing what they originally were talking about. They allowed themselves to become controlled and silenced. And it's like, really? Then I speak out about some things, and I see my followers disappear instantly almost. Like, it's like, Twitter doing a purge? Nope, that's not a purge. Why? Because if you're on my Twitter page for more than 2 weeks after I've done a video, I'll follow you back. So I knew the ones that I had followed, and some of these guys, I actually liked what they posted. But I apparently didn't like what I posted. Okay, unfollow. I went from following 300 people to like down to 204. And I went through my followers list and followed the ones that had followed me in the last month. You know what? My feed improved. It was like, wow. Oh, don't worry, I'm doing YouTube next. Spring cleaning is not over. And it's good to do those things. Then, don't be afraid to follow other people's stuff that you see. See what they got to say. Observe, watch, listen, learn. And a few months from now, reflect on those things. See if they change. See if they, support the things you're saying. If not, hey, perfect time to do a little house cleaning. Because, the people we let in, even on these platforms, they have an effect on us. I will never argue that. It's fact. You know, a lot of these people have an effect on us. If they're being blatantly negative all the time, well, that negativity, believe it or not, you'll start feeding into that negativity every time you see it. And it'll start bringing you down or bringing that negativity to you. You don't need negative people in your life. Ever. Free yourself from that. You'll see an instant change. I'm very picky about who I let in my life, who I allow in my inner circles of friends, because they have a dramatic impact on us. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to not interact with new people. Um, you know, or be friends with them. That doesn't mean I'm going to let them into my inner circle right off the bat. I'm not going to, I want to chat. I want to see who you are, how you hold yourself, express yourself before I do that. Because then again, it might be the other way around. You might have just came in my life because there's something I need to learn at that time. So, can't brush everybody off. You can't be the recluse or the hermit all the time. You have to experience things, And trust me, guys, you'll learn with age, especially the younger ones out there. Your perspectives will change as you experience, as you grow. As you live life, you're going to change. Your views on things will change. That's why I try not to judge the younger generation that bad. Because I know some of it's not their fault. Some of it's the education they got. That's why I don't blame the parents on a lot of these things. Why? I've watched, observed. I've seen how our governments made it so both parents have to work. So they don't have time to sit at the dinner table. See what their kids are learning in school. They got to put food on the table, put clothes on the kids. They got to buy that iPad that's now required for most schools. And are then the laws that are passed that you can't punish your kids. Yes, there is blame, and it does not fall on the parents or the kids. It falls on our very ruling bodies that make these laws that strip us of our rights to protect our children, educate our children, put them in school systems that's going to teach them real history instead of Common Core bullshit. But we don't have those say, because we have these states that want to make up these laws that, it's getting even harder to homeschool your kids from people I've talked to that's trying to get into homeschooling. They've slowly started introducing the Common Core into the homeschooling stuff. And I'm not even going to get started on the other debates. Because I'm going to stop trying to wind this down. Free Spirit Press News, are we going to go live on your channel tonight? She must be away from her computer. You know, it's just like me. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave a link to her channel in my description. Actually, can you put your link in the chat since now the chat stays up? And I'll put it in the description when I'm done. For those that haven't subscribed to her, please subscribe. She puts out some awesome content, plus I'll be collaborating with her on a lot of stuff in the future, as she'll also be collaborating with me over here in the future. So definitely looking forward to a lot of those things, and here a little bit later we'll be live on her channel. So, you know, even on this platform, I've learned a lot watching you guys, watching you live streamers, people that upload videos. I don't edit, so you know, I've learned a few lessons about that when I have audio issues that sometimes on my software that I use when I do upload videos. But, you know, I've learned from you guys as well, all you live streamers, the do's and the don'ts, and that's the process, just like trying not to do videos over an hour, which is very hard for me because I have a lot that flows through my mind, hence ramblings of the chaotic mind, because when I do these, I just let things flow, whatever I'm driven to talk about, or what I feel drawn to talk about, you know, and I just let things flow. That way it's coming out natural, sometimes a little raw and uncensored, which I try to be respectful on. Most of the time anyway. And it's a reason I don't really try to be respectful, because I know I have some couple people that are under 18 that watch this. But it's me. What you see is what you get. Well, can't say that, but for those that's, I do Periscopes from time to time on Twitter, so yes, what you see is what you get, and occasionally I do use my cam here when I don't got a utter mess in the background. I'm still in the process of turning this into a loft, a full loft upstairs with a studio, and I've got everything piled up between two rooms. It's just a chaotic mess right now. Hey, ramblings of the chaotic mind. And the process, you guys know what it is. Going through stuff, getting rid of stuff, or can it be refurbished, used for something else? Yeah, you know what it is. It's just a long process, because, this house is almost 200 years old, so imagine how much stuff is accumulated in it. But, I've got a bunch of videos that I've been wanting to do. I just wanted to talk about this tonight because I thought it was important. And I felt really drawn just to get a few things out of my mind. And also get my mind off other topics that, don't get me wrong, they're important. It's just everybody has their unique way of clearing their mind. And this is my unique way of doing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe later in the week I'll do a Q&A session. And, oh yes, before I forget, the Uber conference thing and roundtables I will not be able to do live. I'll only be able to do those recorded because I don't have, what everybody else has. I got to live within my means, and those just happen to be want items, not needs. Needs first. So I don't have a bit nice mic to pick up my speakers and stuff. So, and Uber conference is no longer usable in Hangouts. So those will have to be done recorded, because I have a few people that want to come on. It's their internet connection when it comes to dealing with Hangouts. All you'll hear when they try to talk is a robotic voice. Plus, I want to be able to invite you guys in as well to an Uber conference, so you guys can have your voice your opinions and views. And for those that want to do that, you can get a hold of me here, YouTube, my emails, and everything you need to find in my description. You can get a hold of me that way. We'll set something up. I'll work. I don't have no problem working around anybody's time. I'm pretty much accessible in all time zones, literally. And I want to do more with this. I want to give you guys, the audience, just not be able to sit here in the chat room, but also join me on these Hangouts or Uber conferences for those that don't have a good internet connection. And that's going to be some more of the future things I'm planning on doing this year with this channel, opening it up more to you guys. Much like when we started, me and my ex started the magazine. It wasn't about just our ideas, our beliefs. It was about everybody's. We welcomed everybody's. That's why the magazine was over 200 pages, because we took in everybody's. We didn't care what your belief was. If you wanted to share your experiences, your beliefs, we gave you a spot. Just like, and that's what I'm always envisioned for this YouTube channel to go, giving you guys a spot. Be able to share your opinions, your views, your ideas, your thoughts. And this year we're going to work on doing that with you guys. So, like I said, everything you need to find is in the description. And I will see you guys later in the week in the next video. You guys have a good night. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to Free Spirit Press News, subscribe, because I will be on her channel a little bit later. I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Good night.